Hi everyone, I'm back. Today I have stick-winded and separated and colored. I still have to fragrance my batter. And I'm going to be using a 40% lye concentration because I am so stubborn and I hate anything less than that. So I'm using a fragrance oil I know behaves. It's Green Irish Tweed by Oregon Trails. I've already tried to film this once before with a fragrance that doesn't accelerate, but oh yeah, it does in 40% lye with low water, of course. So we're going to try this again. Just to let you know, I didn't want to wear long sleeves because I didn't want to have to change clothes in the middle of filming in case I had a splatter. So what I did when I first started soaping, I cut these crazy long socks. They're men's socks. And what you do is you put the elastic in right here, and you put the cut end, you cut the toes out, and you put them up here, and they fit up on your arm, so that way you can just pull them off in case you have a spill. So that's why I look a little silly today. While I'm doing this, I wanted to go over the fact that the hints that I was saying are not set in stone rules. The things like your wall pouring, they don't have to be all thick. You can alternate thin and thick or do just the thin wall pour stripes. It could add to the artistic nature of this entire process. I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up as some things that I learned, but you start making it your own and it could become something completely beautiful and different than what I was trying to explain. The one thing I do want to say is if you have a pretty short standard mold and you don't pour to that base corner and you go a little bit further back from it, sometimes you're not going to have enough base in there at the bottom to really let your butterfly section of the hanger swirl stand out. And that's okay, but you know, so you can work with it. Pour a little more base, pour a little less base, but either way, it's not a set in stone rule. I might be pouring today at emulsion, so that's something else. I'm just going to use a really delicate hand, and oh, this one might be starting to reach light trace, which isn't bad at all. So one last thing. Oh, the hanger going all the way to the bottom. You know, if you guys do this and your hanger doesn't break through and go all the way to the bottom, as long as you're doing the basic tilt, pour, wall pour to the opposite wall, base, and the hanger walking forward and coming back, you did the rules. So just all those hints I said, I didn't want people to think that that was really the rules. I just really wanted to kind of try to help people out a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and pour my fragrance in. Sorry, I'm in front of the camera here. Like I said, this really behaves quite well. Okay, I'm using Nurture's Apple Green right here. Just whisk it in. And this is their Vallarta Blue, I think it is. Yeah, this is still at emulsion. I'm going to go ahead and try to do the wall pour at emulsion. I'm just going to be really light-handed with it, and if it's still just too thin to use that hanger because it won't drag it through, I might just pause the video and wait for it to thicken up a little bit. We'll play it by ear. This is Hollywood Pink. I don't know if I mentioned this in last time I did a challenge, but I just dump my mica in here because I hate separating out oil and trying to put the oil in there. So sometimes I end up with little speckles, but that's all right. This is just activated charcoal, and I did pull some oil out of my main batch to keep this thinner. Okay, so I'm going to do my best for the camera to show you guys. Oh, here's my marker. Okay, let's see if you guys can kind of see this a little bit. There. I might have to work at an angle, but I'm willing. And here's something else. Trying to eyeball, making sure you have enough base to pour in here. I'm really not that good at that. Like I said, I'm not an expert at this, and honestly, I'm one of those hit or miss soapers. Sometimes I do something really cool, and sometimes I don't. So we'll see how this goes. Sorry, I'm in the camera here a little bit. Oh, I barely have have enough base to pour on top, but that's going to be all right. I got it to that back corner. Clean this up a little bit. You see that? It got all the way to the back corner. I'm going to go ahead and angle it to do my wall pours, and I will show you at one point, let you kind of see what's going on. It feels like it's getting a little thicker. It might be at a thin trace now. All right, I'm going to turn this toward, ooh, don't slip out. I'm going to pour some of these wall pours straight down the wall, trying to be as even as possible. It's laying down on top, it's not breaking through, so that's great. Green, make sure this, sometimes you let your soap sit, it gets a little film on top. I just want to mix it up a little bit. I'm making a mess. Blue. It's behaving, guys. It's awesome. That's a pretty pink. And this is probably pretty liquidy because it had extra oil added, obviously, to dissolve the activated charcoal. So I'm going to be careful with this because it's pretty thin. It's already halfway across, but as you start to pour, you'll notice these stripes. I'm going to go ahead and tilt it towards you since we're behaving so well over here. The stripes will start to thin out up at the top, but they're thicker towards the bottom. And like I said, as it's pushing with that wall pour, it will start to, here, I'm going to lift up the camera for you guys. With that wall pour, it will start to compress the stripes towards the back, and they'll stay fatter towards the front. Where are we? We're on a blue. And so it looks like make that one bigger. You're going to run out of room. I'm having to kind of be heavy-handed with it to force it forward. There it goes. Black. Green. Like I said, this behaves, I'm pretty much at that back wall. I'm going to pour a couple more stripes though. This behaves really well, but you know, I'm doing a lot of talking. So I'm wasting a lot of time with my pours. I am going to save some of this left over for the tops. My green first initial pour has rolled up underneath the blue, but that's okay. I just want to get some more of these colors in there. You just have to reach that back wall and you can stop. This is starting to thicken and I'm stopping. So I've lost a green and a blue and a little bit of a pink. It's rolled up underneath a little bit, but that's going to be okay. Once you reach that back wall, you can stop. If you need to pour a couple more stripes, you have a little too much color left over, then go for it. That's not the rule. It just needs to get to that back wall, and that's what's important. So you can see this is starting to thicken on me a little bit. I'm going to get this poured, and this is a really good trace right now to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to get this in here. Be pretty careful with it. Don't break through. See if I can cover all of it. I didn't leave myself very much base, so I'm going to do my best to cover the stripes. If some of the colors are poking out, not a big deal. I think I have just enough if I'm careful to get it covered. Corner. I'm going to try to tap out a little bit of air and go ahead and walk my hanger forward. Set this down. Okay. hand. Sorry, I get funny cramps in my joints sometimes, holding on to stuff. All right, tap this out. Can you see where the color's kind of showing through? That's not going to be a big deal. I went ahead and marked my hanger. Try this just a little bit more here. Hold on one sec. Okay, I don't want it to thicken too much here. Go all the way down. Forward. Up. I can see the hanger almost all the way. Coming back down. 2. There's number 3. I might do a 4th right there at the wall. That's what I'm used to. Come up. Horizontally across. And come out. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and start decorating the tops of this. Started with green, didn't I? I'll start with green again. It's starting to get thicker on me. That's okay. You could see how thick this is getting. It should still work out at this consistency that I had it at. So, like I was saying, you know, as long as it's not super thick and it's not super, super thin, and even if it is super thin, it can still work out. This tray seems to work pretty well. Or I should say, many different traces work pretty well for this technique. It's not like it has to be this specific trace for it to work. And this is, come on fella. There you go. And I'm going to do another pink because it's pretty. This in. These bars a little taller. I should have kept a little more base behind, but I have a hard time judging stuff like that, how much to pour off in cups and stuff. I always seem to have a hard time judging it. Done. Oh, mixed a little blue in here. That's all right. There. Just rather these bars be a little taller. It's good enough. Turn this up real quick. Goes. One thing I like about using lower water is that you don't have to worry about as much shrinking of the size of your bars. You'll still lose water content and everything, of course, but you don't have to worry about it quite as much. And let's fix that black spot right there. Good enough. Okay. I'm not the best decorator of tops either, so we'll see how this goes. Be a little textured from the thickness, but that's good. Do you ever do this? Do you ever freeze and think, okay, what am I going to do next with this? And then think, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. Well, I'm at that point, and yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and mess it up because that's what we do. We get creative and then we think, it needs something else, doesn't it? That's not terrible, I guess. Yay! Okay, thanks for watching, guys. And next time I post something, you'll be able to see these cut pics, and I hope everybody signs up for this challenge. It can be challenging because of trace and everything, but it's a really fun challenge, and it makes beautiful bars of soap. So I look forward to seeing all of you sign up and all of your practices and your submissions. Thanks.